Welcome to the Rewrite Your Story with Tasha Joe podcast, where we fearlessly dive into the vast realm of thoughts, ideas, and conversations that know no bounds. Buckle up and prepare for a wild ride as we venture into uncharted territories and explore the unexplored. On this journey, we leave no stone unturned and no topic untouched. From the profound to the absurd, from the mundane to the extraordinary, we delve into the depths of human curiosity and embrace the sheer unpredictability of life. This is the podcast where anything and everything takes center stage. Each episode is a thrilling adventure into the unknown as we bring you fascinating discussions, captivating stories, and mind-bending perspectives. As we embark on a quest for knowledge, enlightenment, and endless entertainment. Expect the unexpected, for here there are no boundaries and no limitations. Open your mind, expand your horizons, and get ready to be captivated by the infinite possibilities that await. So whether you're a seeker of knowledge, a lover of stories, or simply someone who craves the thrill of the unknown, this podcast is tailor-made just for you. Tune in, fasten your seatbelt, and prepare for a roller coaster ride through the vast expanse of human curiosity. Get ready to be amazed, enlightened, and entertained, because on this podcast, there's only one rule. There are no rules. Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome back. On today's episode, we have guest speaker Maxwell.
Your favorite guest speaker.
Absolutely, favorite guest speaker. And today's topic is going to be on not only how men show up better for their relationships, but for themselves and for society. So we've got lots in store for you, and I am going to go ahead and pass it on over to Maxwell to start us off.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of information to go over.
I know.
This might be a two-part episode, but
Hey, that's okay.
I guess we'll see. Yeah. But I wanted to start off with a quote. Vulnerability paves the way for expansion. It opens the doors to new frontiers. All that your heart desires is going to be experienced through vulnerability. Your desire to be seen and belong, to experience the depth of intimacy and connection, to fully fulfill your divine mission. See, we have a society of men who are just disconnected with themselves. And
Yeah.
not just men, women
Women
too.
too,
But
yeah.
for this episode's sake,
Yeah.
we're focusing on men, right? And society's values are shifting away from like the traditional masculine display of strength and more towards a balanced paradigm where we experiencing a collective like rebalancing of the male masculine and feminine, right?
Mm-hmm.
And strength and courage are once again like being measured by our capacity to lead with vulnerability. So I wanted to start out with that.
Not a lot of people like being vulnerable.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit to get there, but yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of programs or fears and traumas that arise through that.
Getting
But
rid of the ego.
that too. But as a personal experience, like when you raise your capacity to be vulnerable, the quality of your life dramatically improves. People see you for who you are
Yeah.
and you show up more authentically. And those that appreciate and value you stick around. And when you meet those that are against that,
Yeah.
those people leave your life and your life begins to change for the better.
And you are speaking from experience.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So you want to go ahead and touch on that a little bit?
You know my background. I didn't grow up in the American,
Yeah.
I guess you can say like the macho society, right?
Yeah.
I grew up in Taiwan and it was a completely different,
With all women.
yeah, that too. But the society, there's a little bit, but there isn't this like, how do I put it? Macho men.
No,
I don't like saying that.
I know what you're saying, though. Meatheads, that too.
Yeah, or like suppressing emotions,
Yeah.
treating women as
They have to
objects.
act all tough and
Yeah, and
yeah.
like, or just pack your emotions down.
Yeah.
Don't be a bitch.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
We
like,
don't
Be
cry.
a pussy. Yeah, I don't cry.
Yeah.
In the society in Taiwan, there is still a little bit of that,
Yeah.
but it's more welcoming that men are more connected with
And
themselves.
women want that.
Yeah.
Women want to see their man express their emotions. I know from my own experience, my ex-husband, I never saw him cry. In
Mhm.
8 years, never once saw him cry. And I would always say, "Why don't you cry?" And everybody has trauma as to why they are the way they are, but women want that from a man.
Yeah, but there's a caveat to
Okay,
that, and
okay.
we're gonna save it to
Okay,
the end of this episode
okay.
because I know ladies out there, they're like, "Fuck yes, like I want this kind of man," but
Yep,
there's a
yep.
but in there that I want
Stay
people
tuned
to
till
be
the end.
yeah, so you gotta listen to the entire episode.
Okay.
Yeah, so I created not me cre there's this framework, like 10 things to incorporate into your lives for those that want to actively seek a better life, a
Mhm.
better relationships, or not just romantically, but a
Yeah,
better relationship with yourself
yeah.
and improve aspects of your life. There's 10 things and we'll break those down, but these are just things to get you started in the right direction. Some people are like, "Yes, I want to work on myself, but like where do I start?"
Yeah.
And these are 10 like things that are you can just start doing and
Okay.
getting involved in. So it's super awesome.
So
Number 1. All right, we'll just dive right into it.
yeah.
Okay. So, number 1 is self-awareness.
Mm,
And what that means is, yeah, getting in tune with your body, understand yourself and your emotions, your strengths, and your areas for growth. We're not perfect.
yeah.
And like I know there's things that I'm working on
Yeah,
or
and we always are, but it takes, like you were saying, you have to want to be willing to change and
Mhm,
want to change. Yeah.
mhm. And we're human. So, we're not perfect. There's things we're working on. We fuck up.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
And shit's tough. That's okay.
You just gotta keep going.
Yeah. So, how do we develop self awareness? And one of the things, number one, like we can always practice mindful meditation.
Mhm.
And that's something that's super easy to incorporate into your life. Whether you wake up in the morning, meditate,
Set intentions.
yeah, set intentions, go over the things you're grateful for,
Mhm.
practices like that, or even just sitting in silence
Yeah.
or sitting, if you can't do the silence, listening to music that's calming and peaceful,
And nowadays there are so many meditations and
yeah, guided
yeah,
meditation.
so you can pick which one is right for you.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're gonna pop those ear pods in, no one knows what the fuck you're
Yeah.
doing.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
if you have a shame around that,
Yeah. And I want to touch on that too, because everybody has different tactics that work for them, where somebody may journal every morning, some people may meditate, but it's finding what works for you and you
Right.
know that it will stick. Whether it's, okay, every morning before I get out of bed, before my feet hit the floor, I'm going to say 3 things I'm grateful for. So it's play around. I've done this with several different things where I'll try, okay, that didn't stick. Okay, try this. And then I find something that sticks.
Yeah, and I incorporate some of these before I even get out of bed, and it just sets the intention for the day
Mhm.
and, like, reminds you of what's important. So if you're going throughout the day, you get triggered or anything, like, anyone fucks with that,
Mhm.
you're like, "No, like, this is how I started my day. This is how I wanted my day to go."
Yep.
So I'm sticking with that no matter if someone treats me like shit or something happens at work, like, I can revert back to the first thing I did today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are new to setting intentions or meditating or just on this new journey, I do want to say, like, it takes practice and
Mhm.
patience. You're not
Yeah.
going to figure it out on day one, but I promise you, just try. You may be listening to this
That's the
thinking,
most important thing, like,
yeah,
don't have expectations.
exactly.
Like, have
No
a
expectations, no disappointments. That's one of my dad's favorite sayings growing up. I'll never forget that one. But, you know, your words and your thoughts are so powerful. And for those of you listening, being like, okay, I'm going to say this in the morning and it's really going to change my day, it will. Like
Mhm.
it always does. So play around with it, have fun with it, challenge yourself.
Yeah,
Back to you, though.
okay. The third one's exercise, either physical or mental exercises. So,
Endorphins.
yeah,
Hmm.
we all know what that means, I guess.
Yeah, you
Physical
don't need to really go
exercise,
into
right?
that one.
Gym,
Yeah.
or if you do something at home. It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be something crazy. And what's that? Own body weight workout, calisthenics.
Oh, yeah.
You know, something like even right when you get out of bed, you're done with your morning mindfulness meditation. You
Go
put
for
one
a
foot on the
walk.
bed, use your body weight on your bed,
Yeah.
work on your body a little bit. Mental exercises can be whatever, like
Mhm.
Sudoku,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
there's apps on your phone that can stimulate stimulate your brain
Mm-hmm.
and start changing neural pathways. And even just by doing these things in your morning, you are already changing your neural
Yeah.
pathways. Number 4 is healthy eating. Like, you're conscious of what you're putting into your body, which has a dramatic effect on how you feel, how you process emotions,
Absolutely.
and like how your body operates. So if you wake up, you skip breakfast. I eat breakfast at 10. I skip it. But I always eat healthy food and I listen to my body. I'm not hungry right when I wake up, you
Yeah.
know? I listen to my body and I wait till about 10 o'clock and then I eat. So that's another healthy eating. You
Yeah.
listen to your hunger cues,
Yep.
right? And that brings awareness to your body and also choosing what kind of foods you're putting in your body. If you're eating like pizza, freaking burgers, hamburger, and fries 5 days a week,
You're
you're gonna
lowering your vibration.
yeah, and you're gonna feel like shit. Incorporating foods with nutrients and diversity of foods and fruits
I
and
highly
nuts.
recommend reading or listening to the book And Then We Rise by Common.
Mhm.
He breaks it down into mind, body, spirit, and soul and just talks about exercise and food and the way it makes an impact on your body. So that's
Yeah.
just a side note. Very good book.
And not only like listening to your hunger cues, listening to your fullness cues
Yeah.
too. Like, you don't, if you're full, stop. Don't
Oh, I don't
continue.
ever eat until I get full. I haven't done that in so long. I know that I have a full plate and I'll eat most of it and I could finish it. But I'm like, nope, this is my limit to where I don't want to be full and feel like,
Mhm.
ugh.
And healthy eating, it crosses over to alcohol consumption
Yep.
too. Personally, I don't drink a lot. I was never raised in a family. The family I raised in didn't drink at all, you
Yeah.
know. And I went through a drinking phase, and now I rarely drink because I know how it feels in my body.
Mm-hmm.
And when people drink too much, they start doing stupid shit.
Yeah.
They start not being in touch with themselves. Something triggers you. You're not able to process those emotions as effectively as you're if you're
Yeah.
sober. And I know there's a huge population where it's difficult to go out and have fun without drinking, but, like, personally, as I'm working on myself and the more and more comfortable I am in my body and, like,
Mm-hmm.
just even being in public, like, I feel like I bring the vibe. You know, I
Yeah.
have
Oh,
my
yeah.
vibe
Yeah.
and, like, I don't care. Like, I can walk into a bar and order an iced tea, like, I don't give a
Oh, there's
fuck,
been so
you
many
know?
times where we've gone out and you don't drink at all. And I'm like, you're trying to get me out on the dance floor. I'm like, no, I need a shot. And I'm like, why,
I
why do I need a shot? Because that's how I've always operated. Oh, I need to be drunk in order. But I'm like, I'm fun. I know how to have fun.
Right.
But it's that programming of, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
So, yeah, alcohol affects the body, and I'm not saying quit alcohol, you know,
Yeah.
I'm just saying be mindful of it.
Yeah.
Number 5, I guess we're on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, incorporate somatic practices like body scanning.
Mm,
That's a cool
I've
one to
talked about
do.
that one a lot.
Yeah, so check in with yourself, do a mental scan of your body from head to toe, and pay attention to any areas of, like, tension or discomfort. And it could be, like, your shoulders are sore, you're, like, burdened with a lot of stress, or like you've been standing all day at work, your feet are
Mm-hmm.
sore. Take a moment, pause, and scan those things. And also bring awareness to your senses.
Yeah.
What does your surroundings sound like? If you bring your attention to your ears and you only focus on there, what are you hearing?
Mm-hmm.
You can hear the birds chirping or your kids screaming, whatever. Right. I'm a parent, I know. Or your nose, right? What does your surroundings smell like right now? Your taste. What does it taste like in your
That's
mouth?
so
Did you
funny because I
forget to
know
brush
you
your teeth
haven't
this
listened
morning?
to my mini episode I did.
I
Like,
know, I'm terrible for
no,
sorry.
but you're touching on no,
Oh,
you're
okay.
touching on, I did this in my mini episode. I
Oh,
walked
cool.
everybody through each sense and I
Oh,
was like,
yeah, yeah.
close your
Okay, so
eyes.
listen to that episode if
Yeah,
you need more
18. It's a
information.
mini one.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah, this
Uh,
is not gonna be a mini
yeah,
one.
no, this is
Yeah,
going to be
this
good
is
though.
Okay, so the listeners already know how to do a body scan and,
Yeah.
like, somatic practices like that. Just to, because the power of bringing your attention to one of your senses or one spot in your body
Yeah.
is, like, really powerful.
Yeah.
Number 6, breathing exercises. And it
Breath
could
is everything.
yeah, we
Hmm.
breathe all the time unconsciously, but when you start breathing consciously, even, like, moments throughout the day, I'm not saying you have to, like, consciously breathe
Yeah.
24/7, but moments throughout the day with intention is super powerful, you
That's
know?
something I could be a lot better about because I notice I don't necessarily hold my breath throughout the day, but rarely am I like, like really
The
taking a
sigh of
breath.
relief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it feels so much better when you do. So if you are worked up or everything, just stop
hmm
for a second and take a breath, and it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a breath worker. So,
Yeah. So
I know
you
that
got that down.
I'm human,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I know the power the breath can have from physical to emotional regulations.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing. And it can be simple as the triangle breath. You breathe in all the way, filling your stomach and your chest, and then sigh as you
Mm-hmm.
exhale, and then hold. So imagine you're like, it's like a triangle
Oh,
rising,
gotcha. Okay.
falling,
Yeah. Yeah.
sighing, and then you pause, and then you
Yeah.
complete the triangle. And just
Okay.
like doing that for anywhere from, I would suggest 3 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
because
And
after,
if you've never done that before, you'd be surprised. Your whole body may start tingling.
hmm
Your hands may turn into like lobster claws, like
well,
somatic
that's,
breath work is. I'm
yeah,
saying if
that's
they
the more
really go at it.
intense.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So triangle breathing
Don't
is,
freak out.
yeah, there's lots of different breathing techniques for
Yeah.
different purposes. But triangle breathing is super easy, and it helps get you out of your mind clutter and into your body,
Mm,
because you're focusing on the breath, and that's all you're focusing on. And the effects of, and you'll feel after you do it for 3 minutes, and what's 3 minutes? Try it
yeah.
after this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
You'll immediately feel an effect of calmness and
Mm-hmm.
peacefulness. So that's super cool. Anytime you get worked up,
Yep.
excuse yourself for 3 minutes,
Yeah.
go to the bathroom, sit on the toilet,
Yeah.
and just breathe.
Yeah. Yep.
That's a type of emotional regulation. And yeah, there's more on breath work, but that'll be
Yeah. We should do a whole episode on breath work.
yeah. And number 7, you already mentioned journaling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you can
Let it out.
set a timer. What is it, a 10-minute journal or something
Yeah.
like
I
that?
mean,
Or
anything, even if you, not, yeah, if you want to set a timer, but I always tell people just pick up your notebook and a pen. And even if you get one sentence out, one paragraph, one page, like you'll be surprised. Some days I started journaling every single day again. And some of the days I only have a couple sentences, paragraph. And then one day I ended up writing 3 pages. You
right,
just
no
never know.
expectation.
Yeah. You never know what needs to come out or wants to come out. But it's so, oh, I just love journaling.
Yeah, and it's
Absolutely
okay if
love
you
it.
struggle at first too. Just write some affirmations
Yeah.
down, write what you're grateful for, and then from
Mhm.
there it can grow.
Yeah.
If that's something you're struggling with. Another one is self-massage or stretching.
Mm.
That's what I incorporate in my morning routine. So I wake up,
Okay.
I remember what I'm grateful for, and
And then you touch
sit.
yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I touch myself. You wake up, you remember what you're grateful for, you set an intention, and then I just start stretching. No
I need
expectations.
to
Again,
stretch more.
feel what your body wants, or just stretch one way, and then start feeling it, feeling into it,
Yeah.
and then just going with it. And
It's
then,
funny you talking or you touching on that. So I love my inversion table, right?
mm-hmm,
When I smoke a little weed at nighttime,
mm,
I notice I came out here and got on my inversion table one night and I was upright and I just started moving like my
it made
shoulders
you
and
get
then
into your body.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking in that moment, I would not do this if I was not stoned. Just was feeling like I was in another world, but I literally was just like head going in circles and back and lifting my arms above my head, and it felt so good.
Right.
So good.
And it's that probably the weed that helped you drop into
Yeah, get out of my ADD
get out
brain.
of your brain, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so much of us, me included, I'm not freaking perfect here.
Yeah.
We get in our heads and then we forget to drop into our bodies.
Yeah.
And doing the self massage and stretching really helps you focus on, it's also like a body awareness, or just
Mhm.
going with what your body wants without
You're
thinking.
making me wanna do it right now as I'm,
Yeah,
like, rolling
yeah,
my
go ahead. Yeah,
shoulders.
right? Like,
It
start doing
feels
it, and,
so
like, my
good.
chest sore, so I'll just massage my chest a little bit. And you can even do, like, pleasurable touch, because
Yeah.
like, why not? And I don't mean
Yeah.
pleasurable touch like masturbating,
Yeah. Hey, if
Just,
that works for you.
like, massage is pleasurable. And, like, or, yeah, you can, like, body map, like, you can
Mhm.
touch yourself in a way where it's like, "Wow, this feels really good,"
Yeah.
Or if you're have a partner or someone or multiple,
Yeah.
whatever, like,
Mhm.
you start realizing, "Hey, I want you to touch me here.
Yeah.
It feels really fucking good for me." And but you have to explore that yourself. And you know what? Touching yourself, I'm doing it right now.
I know.
It just feels good.
Yeah.
Why not give
Yeah.
yourself some love?
Yep. And I wanna normalize that for a second. I think it's so amazing that we have developed this incredible, amazing group of friends because we're all so close and half of us in relationships, half of us not, but like we all snuggle and
Hmm.
and it's not where most people be like, "Oh my God, that's weird," or "Oh, you don't you have a boyfriend?" But our partners know, and
Right.
that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm super touchy-feely, and,
Yeah, we can sit there and cuddle, legs around each other and
my
whatnot.
current partner knows and
Yeah.
is comfortable with
And
that.
it's okay, but it all comes down to communication and being able to talk to your
Right,
partner about
like,
those
I
things.
have close lady friends
Yeah.
that I love being around, they're awesome people,
Yeah.
like, you were one of them.
Yeah.
And what was it the other day, we were watching
Oh,
the
yeah.
show, and I was like, "I just want I'm like,
I just
I'm
want to
craving
cuddle.
physical
Yeah.
touch." You're like, "Here's a leg."
I wrap
And
my
I'm
leg
like,
around
"Sweet,
you.
I'll take that," you know? And,
And
like
that's how it should be.
right, and
It's not weird. It's not.
a lot of people think,
Yeah.
yeah, it's, like, sexual,
Yeah.
but no, like, my boundaries are because 'cause I'm in a
Yep.
relationship right now, and even respecting you as a friend, like, my
Yeah.
boundaries are no sex,
Yeah.
it's not getting to an erotic state. I just
Yeah.
want
You're not
physical
like groping
connection.
my boob or anything.
No,
We're
you know?
cuddling and yeah.
Right, yeah, and I
Yes.
have respect for you.
Yeah. And your partner.
Yeah, and it all comes down to consent.
Yeah.
Consent,
Absolutely.
sex, and it's like, "Hey, I want physical touch. Can I
Yeah.
get a
Yeah.
leg?"
Can I get a leg? Oh my God.
And if you're both not in a relationship and you're both consensual, then
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, shoot, I turned my phone off. I was
That's okay.
tracking my
Your
list.
bullets.
I got all hyper.
What number were we on? 7, 8?
Ooh, 8,
8.
yeah.
Okay.
This is just part of the first one.
Yeah,
We're
I
still
know.
going through the first,
Yeah.
self-awareness. Okay, so another one is, yeah, body awareness activities or exercises. So yoga,
Mhm.
and dudes do yoga, man. I do yoga,
Yeah.
Greg does yoga.
Yep.
Dudes doing yoga, freaking awesome. It's a
Yeah, and
thing.
girls like that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, that shit's hot.
Or Tai
Uh,
Chi or Qigong,
mhm.
these tried and true, been around for a long ass time,
Yeah.
they work. Another one is regular check-ins. We don't do that enough.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is ask yourself how you're feeling physically, emotionally. Do that throughout the day, or even when you notice a shift in you, like something
Mhm.
happens,
Yep.
good or bad. I don't like to say bad,
Yeah.
positive or
Yeah.
not negative,
Negative,
right?
yeah.
And really feel those feelings out. And
Mhm.
if it's a strong feeling, like something, a painful life event happened, don't pack that shit down.
Yeah.
Find a safe space. Again, bring awareness to your body. And when those emotions come up, release them.
Yeah.
Like,
You gotta process them.
yeah, by myself, remembering a painful event, it comes up, it builds in my body. I'm aware of it. I'm feeling it out. And then just cry it out.
Yeah.
Just mourn. Get
Yeah.
that. I'm getting
Yeah.
choked up right now. Just
Just
like
thinking about it. Yeah.
you're carrying this grief, and the more you bury it, the more you're ignoring it,
And it turns
and it
into a
eats you.
physical
Yeah,
illness.
yeah, and it causes other issues, and it affects your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your partner, your relationship with your family. By you ignoring this, you're not
You
doing
think it goes
anyone
away,
a
but no.
favor.
Yeah. And if you want a breakdown of that, watch the documentary Heal on Netflix, Amazon Prime. Have you seen Heal yet?
Mm-mm.
Oh my God. We're going to have to turn that on after we
Okay,
finish
yeah,
it if
let's do
this
it.
doesn't end up being too late. But watch Heal because it talks all about how your emotions and everything that you push down will
Mm,
come out in the physical.
and it does.
Yeah,
And in other forms too, not
absolutely.
just
That's just
physical.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's how it comes out in how you operate,
Yeah. 100%.
and your body carries it.
Yeah.
Really allowing you a space and time to feel those emotions out. I just mentioned the other day, just feeling out this grief, and I had to have an episode of just mourning it out. I
Mm-hmm.
cried. I did the whole just grieved,
Yeah.
and then I was cool.
Yeah.
I got it out.
Yep. And you kept moving forward.
And animals do that.
Mm-hmm.
Humans are animals and then some, but
Mm-hmm.
our animals, when they have a traumatic life event, like getting attacked or something like that, they fall over, they just limp out, start shaking, getting all those emotions out. mourn whatever, or when they mourn, there's no
Yeah.
holding back.
And I've actually witnessed that with my cat Tonto that
Mm.
I had with my ex-husband. He went missing for 3 days. I think he got trapped somewhere.
Mhm.
And I remember I was out in the yard and then I saw him just walking really slow towards the house. And I was like, Tonto. And he just laid there for 3, 4 days. I don't know what
Mm.
happened to him, but I could tell he got traumatized by
Processing it.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it took a while for him to come back to himself.
And with certain painful life events, it takes time,
Mm-hmm.
but giving yourself that time to process and to feel out those emotions and
It's so
everything that you're
important.
carrying. Yeah. And like I said, animals do it naturally,
Yeah.
and they fall over, shake it out, or process it, and then they get up and continue, and it's fine. Like they
Yeah.
don't carry it.
And I can tell you from my own experience too, that's what I used to do. I used to push it down no matter what would happen because that's just how I was raised. Push it down, keep going. And then it all came boiling up. You've
Yeah.
got to allow yourself to feel what you're feeling and go through the emotions and then move forward.
Yeah. And I know it's difficult in the man's world where they're like, don't be a bitch, just pack it down. But it's
Which,
like
where did that even come from?
your parents, your childhood.
The original
Yeah.
starting of it. Be a
Right.
man, be tough. What the fuck is
And
that?
like, why are we so loyal to upholding rules and honoring the burdens other
Yeah.
people are carrying from wherever they picked it
Yeah.
up from? And
Yep.
the problem is the majority of people are completely unconscious of these deeper aspects of themselves,
Mm-hmm.
and they keep them imprisoned in this state of suffering.
Yeah.
So it's like the more, listening to this podcast or learning from somewhere else, like the more knowledge you gain and the more you're like doing these things and you're like, holy shit, this actually works. When you hear that stuff, you're
Yeah.
like, dude, you're fucking wrong. This is
Yeah.
not how we operate.
Yeah.
And if people have
Yeah.
a problem with it, cool.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
And if people
Seriously.
are like, tell me more, and you're like, hell yeah.
Those are our kind of people.
Right?
I can't deal with the ego. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Okay. And then the last one, I think we just talked about it too, is education, right?
Yeah. Knowledge is power.
Yeah. Read, learn, watch,
Yeah.
freaking change your TikTok algorithm. Like,
Yeah.
I know
It's the
whenever I
li-
open mine, it's just like self help stuff, cool
Yes,
stuff.
I was just gonna touch on that. It's all about what you make of it too. I don't do all the different social media platforms, but I do Instagram, and I
Hmm.
shit you not, like it's all self-help. I get
Right.
on as my daily inspiration to know what's going on astrologically, what's going on. Just it's not friends posts. I used to follow all the people on The Bachelor, and I went through and changed it up to where now I'm getting on to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned this in the previous episode, right? Like hashtag TikTok saved my life.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
like my algorithm, it's whenever I'm like in my head again, overthinking stuff, I
Whip it, and then it's
whip it out,
exactly
and
what
then
you're.
he scrolls down. I'm like, hear
And
exactly
that's
what I need.
I
And I'm
love
like,
it.
oh yeah, get out of your head, Maxwell.
Yes. It's so funny too because, a lot of people joke and be like, "Oh, your phones are listening to you." And yeah, sure
Yeah,
they are,
they are.
but they are for sure. But even the things you're thinking, not even just the things
Hmm.
you're speaking out loud, you may like my algorithm, like recently going through a breakup, then all that stuff comes up. I didn't speak that out loud and whatnot. It's what you're feeling. That's why I always talk about manifesting. You are manifesting 24/7.
Yeah,
What you're thinking, what you're speaking. So just be very mindful of that too.
yeah, and that's how you operate. You are
Mm-hmm.
what you think and feel. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll go ahead and never mind. I'll get to this later. Go ahead. We
Oh,
just
okay.
finished the
Number one,
number.
self awareness.
Okay.
All right. Number two is emotional intelligence. And it starts with here, I'll just read the description. Develop your emotional intelligence by recognizing and managing your emotions effectively. And this skill helps you navigate with yourself and relationships with greater understanding and empathy. But how you start that is by naming what you're feeling. And most of us don't have the vocabulary for that.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There's a resource online. It's emotional awareness vocabulary. It's like a
Mm.
wheel.
Oh
And
yeah.
the center of the wheel's what we all know about emotions:
Yeah.
anger, joy, happiness, sadness. And then it branches out from that
Mm-hmm.
into it breaks it down. These
And
are
then
the
you pick
different
which
kinds of,
one.
yeah. And you just keep going further out of the circle. And then you're like, oh, I feel shameful. And that's stemming from fear or loneliness. You start building that vocabulary, but you got to practice, right? You're
Yeah.
like, I'm feeling this feeling. I don't know whatever the fuck it is. And then you analyze it. You're like, okay, oh, it's fear. Or again, I keep reverting
Yeah.
back to fear. And then you build that vocabulary for yourself.
Mhm.
And then so every time you feel something, you can start naming it. And you should name it out loud. I feel this. When you do this, I feel this. And you start building that emotional awareness through that
And
vocabulary.
that kind of reminds me of when I was doing a lot of work on triggers, very similar, where keeping a log of your triggers, like what triggered you,
Mm,
how it made you feel,
mm,
and then how you reacted. And if you start jotting those down, you're gonna notice a pattern.
yeah.
And that's how you end up healing something in that area. But
Yeah. And what's cool about what you feel is that no one can deny it.
yeah,
And if someone does, it's this
yeah,
is how I feel.
yeah,
Sorry, that's a fact.
yeah.
Like
Nobody
that's
should
why
ever tell you how you
yeah,
feel.
that's why like I statements are so powerful. I feel this because this happened.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's totally valid. And people that don't validate it, it's just
Yeah.
like, why am I even talking to you?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's where I don't even feel like I have anybody in my life anymore that would ever say something to me like that. We're surrounded by like-minded people to where we hear each other out, and I would never say, Maxwell, you don't feel that way. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But we've built that.
Yes,
And
absolutely. Yeah.
that's our journey. Other
There's
people
still a
have
lot of
different
people.
journeys and
hmm
different people that are around them.
Yeah.
And
But you have something to look forward to, is what I'm saying too. If you are in that place where you're around people like that, like once you start paying attention to these things, new people will start coming into your life. And I don't know, your circle just changes.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know several people whose circles are changing, and
hmm
it's a tough place to be, but you're creating room for something better.
And I think your circle should always change. I don't want to say I want mine to always change. I love my tribe and stuff. If we're always evolving and growing and
Mhm.
vibrating higher,
Right.
some people aren't going to be. Some people
Well,
may just stay stagnant,
we
you
were
know?
just talking before this episode. We're just making some food in the kitchen,
Yeah.
and we are talking about our how our partners
Oh, yeah.
have been better and better and
Every
better.
time.
Yeah, every
Yeah.
time, and then
Yeah.
like it's because we're
Absolutely.
growing.
Yep.
Yeah, super cool. So with emotional intelligence is again going back to number one, like connecting with your body, and the
Mm-hmm.
more and that once you're like, oh, I'm feeling this certain way, name it. Another one is paying attention to how. Oh, you touched on this. Yeah, paying attention to how you behave and why
Yeah.
you behave that way.
Oh, yep. What we
And
just
then you
talked about.
said, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
making a list of, oh, this triggered me and this is how I solved it,
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh shit, yeah, every time this happens, I do this, and like analyzing that. And also question your own opinions often because our
That's a good
opinions
one.
don't actually belong to us.
Yep.
And by what I mean, it's passed down and it's affected by our environment
Yeah.
because our parents can have an influence on us. And then like we develop our opinions because of that, or our friends and close group.
That reminds me of Louise Hay, How to Heal Your Life. Is that true? You know,
Right.
when a thought comes through or an opinion, whether it's yours or somebody else's, is that true? Do you know that to be true 100%?
Right.
No. We create these scenarios and these thoughts and things in our head, and then you start to spiral. So as soon as it comes through, identify it and just wait a minute, is that true? Or
Right.
yeah,
And this is like really predominant in the male culture of like always having to be right.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
a lot of fucking stress, man.
yeah.
I could admit that I don't know everything, and
hmm
that's cool. Even work,
And I don't have a problem being wrong.
in my day job, I'm a master technician at a dealership. Like I fix
Yeah.
cars. Do I know everything about cars? Fuck no.
And maybe if you, yeah, and maybe if you start tweaking it to, this is what I do, this is why I love growth. Look forward to being wrong, because that's an opportunity to grow and to
Well,
learn
that
something
takes
new.
curiosity and vulnerability.
Oh, yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Okay.
that's another thing. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, shit. Now I'm all messed up.
It's okay. It's okay.
We'll just go right to the next one. Yeah, taking responsibility for your feelings and emotions. Nothing you feel is wrong.
Mm,
It allows space for all the emotions to be felt and to examine those emotions. Get curious about what you're feeling, right? And that goes back to the body scanning and like naming. Get curious where it's coming from.
mm.
Is this a familiar feeling, or what feels familiar about it? What doesn't? And have you felt it before? Why is it coming up? Like really get curious about yourself. And another cool thing is celebrating the positive. I don't
Yeah.
think we do that enough. We
No, we
focus so
talk about that a
much.
lot, actually.
Yeah, we focus so much on like our failures, but do we actually praise our
Or once
successes,
we reach that goal, it's on to the next. Yeah.
and just pausing for a moment and build. And you can do that by building gratitude in like the
Mm-hmm.
smallest things.
Yeah.
And the more you do it, the more humans around you will do it, and you're perpetually feeling each other and building resilience,
I feel
for
like
harder
at
things.
Mystic, we all are really good about that, always praising each other and telling each other how proud we are of each other and how grateful we are. And
Yeah. And also, oh, you want to do this? Fuck yeah, go do it.
yeah, we hype
Like
it up.
we're not
And
like a tribe where we're like, oh, you want to do this?
if
Oh,
anything, we push you to do it. Go explore it.
yeah.
And if it
This is
doesn't
like
work out, okay.
exactly.
Yeah. And if you need any help with that, I'm your hype gal for sure. I'll get you going.
Yeah, don't ignore the negative. Always, when you give the negative, like, yeah, again, name it, right? If there's
Hmm.
something negative emotion or event happening, name it. Always give emotions a name, because it brings them. You're shining a flashlight on it. It's like the kid is scared of a monster in a closet, right?
Yeah.
And a good practice would be like grab a flashlight, shine in the closet, right?
Hmm.
You're
Face your fears.
and you're bringing it to light, and you may, by naming it and bringing it to light, you immediately take your power back from it.
Yeah. So I'm curious because I always wonder why this is only when I smoke weed. I don't smoke weed a lot, but at nighttime I do sometimes to help me wind down. But
Mhm.
why is it I'm so confident and I'm not afraid of anything when I'm not high? But I swear to you, when I get stoned, I get paranoid. I think sometimes I'm scared to get off my bed because I think something underneath my bed
Mm.
is going to swoop me. And or I go into the
Mhm.
bathroom and push my shower curtain aside to see if somebody's in there. I'm like, what the hell? Why is this only when I'm stoned? I have no idea. But I face it. I push the shower
Yeah,
curtain back and
I
stuff.
don't know
But
either. I remember one time in high school, I got hella stoned and I was paranoid as
yeah, I don't know
fuck.
why it does that to me. But anyways, okay,
Yeah,
keep
maybe
going.
that's for someone that has more experience
Yeah,
or
if you have any
knowledge about
advice
it.
or let me
Yeah.
know.
Another thing, if hasn't been brought up before or people know about it, is like doing shadow work or inner child
Mm,
work, and bring all of your aspects of yourself into light.
yeah,
Even revealing the dark side of you to light, and even appreciating the parts of you in the past that maybe you weren't, what's the word, fond of. Yeah,
yeah,
like, great, I didn't show up as a really good human at that time. And
yeah,
for me personally, yeah, there's definitely times like that.
yeah,
But loving those aspects of yourself, because those are, you carry those with you.
yeah.
And even as a child.
And those are the things if you are someone who has things that you're like scared to talk about or scared to feel, those are the things what you resist persist. You
Mhm.
know, those are the things that you need to get okay with. And that's something that I highly encourage people. I think about it all the time. If I was to die, I feel so good that I have no skeletons in my closet. There's nothing people would find out about me that, I just own everything about who I am in my past. And I remember my dad called me a couple episodes ago and was like, "Hey, so are you sure you want to be talking about all that on your
Mhm.
podcast?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have a past. That's who I am." And
R
at first he didn't understand it because he's, "You're telling everyone you burnt down our house when you were 4, you used to take Percocets, da da
Guess
da."
what? We all have shit.
Yeah, we all have a past and I own it. I'm not afraid of what anyone's going to think of me. You have a past, I have a past, we all have a past. No judgment here.
And
We
you
don't
take the power
judge.
back.
Yeah, I own it and you either like me or you don't. I don't
Yeah.
care.
And there's a lot of things we carry in ourselves from our childhood, and doing
Ton.
the inner child work and embracing your inner child, inner teenager, inner
Yeah.
young adult.
Yeah. I talked about this on a couple episodes ago how I OD'd when I was 17. I took a whole bottle of Tylenol, 80 Tylenol, and slept overnight. I almost died. My liver was
Well, there's a reason
shot.
you did that too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm still digging into my younger years and whatnot. However, I used to be afraid to talk about that because I didn't want people to think I was suicidal. But as I've gotten deeper into my spiritual journey, I'll talk about it to whoever in front of whoever because that's not who I am today. And
Mhm.
anybody who knows me knows that, but that was part of my past and I did do that and I own it. Yeah.
And that's really important.
Yeah.
Another important thing, so on to number 3 is communication.
My number one.
And it might
Number
not be
one.
other
We
people's
both
number
have
1.
Mercury or Virgo and Mercury. So
Yeah.
we're big
Well,
communicators.
I
Yeah.
definitely didn't used to be a good communicator,
Yeah.
and I don't think like,
Me
I
either.
still have work to do on that, but
I think you're pretty damn good. Always will always have work to do, but I look at you as an extremely good communicator.
really.
Yeah,
Ooh.
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. I can talk to you about anything. You talk about things, whether you want to talk about it or not. Yes,
Mm,
yes. I don't think you could be better at communicating. I think you're pretty up there. So,
thank you.
yeah.
But yeah, working on your communication skills to express yourself clearly, and that builds on having the vocabulary and emotional intelligence, right?
Hmm.
Or yeah, and also with communication on the flip side is practicing active listening is an
Yes.
important one.
And that the example that comes to mind where you said that you used to not be a good communicator,
Mhm.
I can say the same where if somebody would say, "What's wrong?" I'd be like, "I'm fine," when I
Right,
really wasn't fine.
right.
So, yeah, communication is huge. It's everything.
And actively listening, like holding
Yeah.
space and allowing someone to talk without interruptions.
And not just waiting for your turn to talk, like
Right, really hear
literally
them
hear
out.
them and
Yeah,
respond versus
right.
just start talking about yourself.
And a easy thing to do is when you're doing active listening, you're there listening, you're paying attention to what they're saying, and then what you can do is reply back to them like, "This is what I heard.
Yeah.
This is what I think I heard you say,"
Yeah.
and like repeating that. Also, get curious about other people's perspectives. Just surrender to yourself that you don't have all the answers. You don't know everyone's perspective, and the fact how people behave or what they say, like there is a reason for that.
It's a lot
That
deeper
is
than
like
you think.
and everyone's got a battle that they're fighting that you know nothing about.
Yeah.
But you can be curious, be like, if say someone says something that kind of triggers you, instead of being like, what the fuck? You can be like, tell me more about that.
Yeah.
Like, where do you think that's stemming from? And then you start to realize, holy shit, they might be suffering. So
Mhm.
you're flipping that attack into
You're responding and not
compassion.
reacting too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's super awesome.
That's huge.
Hmm.
That's huge.
And by communicating, we building on what we talked about before, connecting with your body so you actually know what you're feeling,
Mhm.
having the vocabulary to voice what you're feeling, and then being able to communicate that. And also have to be cautious about removing judgment from that because
Mhm.
that's when like the ego
Yep.
and the mind take over. Try and stay in your body. And, you know, doing what I do, like my practice with like Reiki, it's very
Yeah.
much removing myself from the situation,
Yeah.
right? There is no energy exchange. I'm just a channel.
Yeah.
And I've been bringing that to my personal life where like the less I'm in my head and the more tapped in I am to like my body and like energy, there's this natural collective wisdom that just comes
Mhm.
out. And
Mhm.
sometimes the shit I say, I'm like, I don't know how I know that.
That's so cool.
You
So
know?
cool.
I think our bodies have an inner knowing
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
ourselves and as a collective, and that our minds block us out from that by overthinking, over rationalizing,
Yeah.
over being over judgmental, the ego getting in the way.
So far, this is all good stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like too much.
No, we're gonna dig into some examples and stuff, but right now we're just going over the main key points.
And then and when you're doing the active listening and saying, "Hey, this is what I heard," it's okay to get it wrong.
Yeah.
Like the person can correct you.
And you gotta remember too, like, there can be 10 people at an event and each person heard something completely different, perspectives and yeah.
And you're not expected to get it right every
No.
time when you're practicing. You know,
Yeah.
you'll get better and better at it. And then,
Mhm.
like, just give yourself grace and get to a point where you can both like mutually understand each other.
Yeah.
That's good communication.
Yeah.
Also, a cool thing you can do when communicating with your partner or someone you really care about, even if it's a friend, coworker, whatever, if appropriate, maintain
Yeah.
physical contact
Mhm.
or at the very least eye contact.
Yeah.
And if you can do both, great, because that triggers, I don't know the scientific part of it, but It really allows people to connect and communicate
Mm-hmm.
better. Yeah, like being close proximity, physically touching, holding their hands or touching other parts of their body. Make sure that what the other person needs to feel and whatever feels safe and true and right in their body, like
Yeah.
allowing the other person to be comfortable. You have that eye contact, you have the physical touch. Like that's when you feel safer and you're more able to be authentic.
And knowing what your partner's love language is
Mm.
huge,
Mm-hmm.
because we all want and need different things. And when you're trying to communicate with each other,
Right.
I think that one is really important because, like you just said, I may need that touch, that physical touch,
Right.
where you may need words of affirmation.
Right. Touch on that too, because
Yeah.
a lot of times, I know for guys and for me in the past, like whenever your partner or someone's, hey, we need to talk, that triggers a fear in me. Oh,
Hmm.
what did I do
Like
wrong?
anxiety.
What did I fuck up? But if you're like, hey, babe, I love you, but I just wanted to talk about something. Holy shit, by adding that I love
Yeah.
you or you're not a bad person, because we fuck up all the time,
Yeah.
right? But
Approaches everything too.
yeah,
Yeah.
but when you engage in conversations like, what the fuck? Like that immediately, oh, I did something wrong. But
Yeah.
like, we all do something wrong.
Yeah.
Not on purpose. We're
Yeah.
not, like, trying to hurt each other, hopefully.
Yeah.
But when you're like, "Oh, that's like, I didn't like what he did."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Hey, babe, I know you're not a bad person, like, you didn't mean to do this, but" or not even but, like, "When you did this, like,
It bothered me or
it
it made me
bothered
feel this
me,"
way.
you know?
Yeah.
And then approaching it like that, because I know me personally, when I would get scared
Yeah.
communicating these things, but if
Mm.
you're opening the floor to, "Hey, I love you. You're not a piece of shit. You're a
Yeah.
good person. I have a benefit of a doubt.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about this." And then you're like, "Oh, okay, this is a safe
Isn't
space to
that
talk."
crazy how just those different examples you just named, that rise in your body
Right.
from, hey, we need to talk, and you just feel that rush
Yeah.
go through
The
versus the other way? It's
yeah,
just, yeah,
but you can't manipulate that,
yeah.
ladies. If you want your man to open up, you can't lead with that and then go and beat the shit out of him verbally.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're talking like you have to
Yeah. And to me, honestly, I've been there. Again, I've voiced this in many episodes before where I've been down that road of the arguments, which led to the yelling and just the toxicity. And to me, I don't know. I guess we all have to go through things to get to where we are, but there is no need to yell or to raise voices. Yes, it's okay to get angry and feel that and whatnot, but everything should be talked out. I won't argue or yell with somebody. And you've witnessed it a couple times with different situations where but you can't always control the other person. They may get all worked up, but it's up to you to remain calm and respond versus react. And if
right.
you do react, that is an unhealed part of yourself that you need to go inwards and figure out,
Mhm.
why they got that reaction out of you.
Yeah, and that leads to into the next one about paying attention to your body language and the other person's. Because, like,
Mhm.
we know as a fact, most of our communication is nonverbal, right?
Yeah.
So when you're engaging in a conversation and the other person may have a lot of anxiety or something, they're,
Yeah.
like, shrunken in, right?
Yeah.
They're balling up, and then,
Mhm.
like, you notice that, and then if you notice that, you can be like, "Hey," that's why the, "Hey, I love you, you're not a piece of
Yeah.
shit," comes in, and then they're like they release that, right? Or you're talking to someone and you notice that they're getting agitated, pause and be like, "I noticed you're getting a little bit worked up or
Yeah.
agitated. Tell me more about that. Be curious."
Mhm.
That's how you properly communicate.
Yeah. And also too, the word that comes to mind for me is respect.
Mhm.
That one is so big. Like, respect your person, have respect for yourself. And if you're going through things and trying to work things out, to me, it's pretty simple. If I say to you, hey, it really bothers me that you do this, and that person continues to keep doing it, that's just disrespect to me.
Yeah, but what if you're here's my question for you though. Say some people have already lost their respect for their
Okay.
partner, but they're wanting to do these things,
Okay.
right? I don't like how would you suggest that kind of repair?
So to me, effort is
Mhm.
everything. If they are attempting to be better and they're trying different things, then that's up to me to have patience because I love that person and work with them. But if I continuously say, hey, or even just say that and they continuously keep doing it without trying to get better, then that's where I'm out.
Mm.
You know, did that answer it?
Yeah,
Like,
I guess.
okay. Yeah.
Another thing is keeping an open mind and don't internalize things. Yeah, I remember I used to internalize a lot. Like when you're like, hey, you did this and it made me feel this. And then immediately I'm like, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think every situation is so different too. And I can name one example back when I was married. Ew, I know I smoked cigarettes back then. But
I
anyways,
smoked too for a while.
yeah, I would put my cigarette butts in the driveway and my ex-husband would say, hey, can you please not do that anymore? And the second he said that, I never did it again because I respected him.
Mm.
But then there's couples and people that say, hey, and again, it's all about approach. He asked me nicely, said he was very particular about the yard and everything, and
Mm.
he didn't like that. And which is really weird that I did that because I'm OCD and I keep everything all clean, organized. But it just comes down to respect. I can't
Well,
even.
when you internalize something, it's because of a core wound you have.
Yes. Yeah.
So when I thought, oh my God, I'm a piece of shit,
Mm,
is because I believed I was unworthy.
mm,
But when you're like, oh, my intentions were not to hurt you
yeah.
because I know I'm a good person, you're not internalizing that.
Yeah. And I was going
And
to say it does come down to intentions. If somebody does something, know their intentions. Did they do it to intentionally hurt you?
because a
Yeah.
lot of the times we're operating out of our core wounds.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Core wounds.
Core
Core
wounds. Core
wounds.
wounds. And these wounds can trigger your partner's wounds, and then you're unaware of this, and then it starts like
Yep.
this whole
Vicious
like
cycle.
vicious vortex
Yeah.
cycle, right? And
Yep.
then that spurs resentment, and then I don't know, a lot
Yep.
of people. I got into this vortex with my marriage, and it's just like you have to remember the strength of who you are and have the compassion first for yourself. And then once you build that, you can then have that capacity for other people.
Exactly. Right there. You and me both. This is why it all boils down to self. I
Mhm.
always tell people, go inwards. If you are struggling with other people in your life, you have to go inwards because once I started doing the self help and working on all these things,
Mhm.
all of my relationships changed
Right.
with
And I
my
bet you
family.
didn't
With
do it perfectly the first time. Right?
absolutely not. I'm
Right.
still learning.
That next thing too is like practice.
Yeah, it takes practice, it takes patience, but it also takes dedication and like wanting to be better. I had made that conscious decision. I'll never forget it. I remember that one day I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm
Mhm.
tired of arguing. I'm tired of feeling this way. And that's when I started getting into crystals, which led me on this journey and whatnot. But I remember wearing it around my neck and grabbing it and being like, nobody is ever going to get that rise out of me again.
And mine was learning about emotional attachment and avoidant
Yeah.
attachment.
Mhm.
In that relationship that ended, I was like, why am I feeling like this crippling anxiety? This
Yeah.
isn't me. And I got curious about it. And that's what snowballed me into my own journey. It's like being curious about learning why this is like certain things are happening, why people are behaving this way. And then I'm like, oh, this is totally me. I'm anxious attachment. And this was
Yeah.
totally her. It's just avoidant attachment.
And I don't care who out there says, well, he does this, she does that. I'm
That's
sorry,
a blame
but
game.
it all comes down to you.
You.
If
Yeah.
there's a problem, it's you. And I
Mhm.
say that because I learned it, I've studied it. Read Louise Hay's How to Heal Your Life. She will be the first to point that out. Like the problem is always you. You are the one that gets to choose how you respond, who you surround yourself around,
What
how
you
you
accept.
yeah, what you accept, all of it. And the more you going back to worthiness, back then I didn't know my worth.
Mhm.
And so it would come out in anger, come out in sadness or whatever it was. But like the more I learned who I was and worked on myself and whatnot and knowing who I am,
Mhm.
everything changed and it
Right.
continues to. And I love who I am today. Like,
Right.
and
And you
that's not
practice
cocky.
it daily, right? And
Absolutely.
even like communication,
I
like
don't
all
know
these
how
things.
to not practice it.
When
I don't
you-
know how to not turn or how to turn it off.
Yeah, but when you're practicing these things in like low stakes situations, right? Like daily minding your own life, or when you're practicing communication in
Yep.
not very heated situations, right?
Yeah.
This practice you build up to where it's easier when the stakes are higher. When
Yes.
life is hard, you're able to communicate effectively. You know your worth in high stakes situations.
Yes.
It's just, yeah, practice. We got 6 more to go.
Okay,
Or is
let's
it?
do it.
Am I mathing right?
Yeah.
It's gonna be a long night.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
We're doing what we love.
Exactly. All right. You ready for number 4?
Mm-hmm.
Respect and empathy. We already touched on that.
Yep.
Good call. So treat others with respect and empathy. Understand their feelings and perspective. And showing empathy can help you connect with others on a deeper level. I know in male culture, we aren't taught empathy.
Yeah.
Don't fret. It's something you can learn.
Yep.
You're not lost causes.
Yep.
Yeah, and it goes down to the golden rule. Treat others how you would want to be treated.
Yep.
But sometimes when you have low self-worth, you treat yourself like shit.
Yeah.
And beat yourself up. So it all starts with you, right?
Yeah.
Like you just said.
Always.
Yeah. And
You should be like your biggest project that you will ever work on. When your body is your one vehicle for life. It's everything.
Right. You're all you got.
Yeah. Nobody's ever going to want anything for you the way you do, your dreams, goals, nothing. Like, so you should be so excited about bettering yourself and just seeing how good it can get. I think that's my number one goal.
Yeah. And
Forever and ever.
And for those that maybe don't know what empathy means, it's connecting to the feelings of another person. And
Yes.
by doing that, it really takes presence and curiosity.
Yes.
And presence again comes to eye contact, physical touch. And even what's one really cool practice is matching the other person's breathing pattern.
Oh, yeah.
So when you have eye contact, and you're breathing the same pattern they are, that creates the presence and a deep connection and a deepness in that.
I like it. Let's get in sync with our breath.
And also understand that people have their own shit, and so
all
do
do,
you,
yeah.
right? And so that we could be operating from our core wounds. Also, give without expectation. Because by giving respect and empathy, you are more likely to receive them.
Mm-hmm.
And don't have any expectation of receiving them, right?
And everything, karma, everything always comes back around. So I've talked about this before too. You may be so giving to one person and never get that back from them, but it will come back through somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Giving and receiving. It doesn't
And
always happen from the
you're
same person.
also modeling.
Yeah.
So if the person isn't showing you respect
You're
or
setting an
empathy
example.
by doing it regardless,
Yeah.
you're modeling it for them, and then then they start catching on, and then they start doing it, yeah. So number 5 is authenticity, being authentic, right? Being true to yourself and your values. But you have to first understand that first. Right? And then authenticity is attractive and can help you build genuine connection with other people. Because when a lot of times, a recent situation we both know about, someone portrays himself as one thing and then you find out something else. Like, how is that connection working out? Not great.
Yeah. Yeah. People's true colors. For
Like
sure.
what you said, you're like, yeah, I burned down my house when I took pills and tried to commit suicide.
I've
These
put
are
it out
things
there
you
who I
own,
am.
because you're being
Versus
authentic
hiding
to
it.
yourself. Right.
Yeah.
Because then you hide it and then you're carrying that. People can feel that.
Yeah.
And then, or they find out through someone else, oh, this is how Tasha really is.
Yeah.
That whole connection just breaks down.
Yep.
Own your shit. Be authentic. Tell people how you feel.
Yeah.
What you're feeling. And show respect and empathy.
Yep.
Don't suppress parts of yourself just to please other people.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And in the male culture, there's this competitiveness, and we need to break that down, because we're all individuals. We all have worth, and we all have a place in this world. and it's not a competition.
Mm-mm.
The only competition it should be is who can be
Who
the
can
most
be the
vulnerable,
yes.
who can connect, who has the
Yes.
best relationship with their
Yes.
partner. You're like, let's compete with the positive
Yeah.
things.
Let's all try and be better and better, and
And I know
yeah.
it's sports competitive, but have that be a positive. That's cool.
And that's a good example too, though. A lot of people bring that into their life from playing sports, or you just never know, but it's recognizing it and doing something about it.
Right. Because
If it
there's a positive side
Yeah.
of competition, and
Yes,
then
and a
there's like a
negative.
negative side,
Mhm.
right?
And that's my number one rule at Mystic. There is no competition. have had several Reiki healers renting rooms from me. I have several artists that make similar things, and I've only ever had to let go of one artist because she was making clay jewelry, and then she's, "Oh, now you have somebody else." And I'm like,
Right.
"The right people will be drawn to your items. There's
And
no competition
I'm one
here."
of those Reiki healers, right?
Yeah.
Alex is another one.
Yeah.
But we're all different individuals, and we bring
And you all
our
support we all support each other.
right, and we
Mhm.
bring our own individuality,
Yeah.
and that expands beyond Reiki. That's just
Yeah.
life in general. Like, there are people that may be more connected and drawn to me and wanna do Reiki with me, or, like, they like breathwork and Reiki, or they just prefer a male
Yep.
practitioner, and then
We
there
all just are so supportive. And even we have Reiki healers that don't rent rooms at Mystic that we still will recommend to them because they offer something different along with it. You just never
right,
know. We're not intimidated or jealous, or, you know what? We just
right.
all support each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's unique, you all have a
Yeah.
place in the world. You all have everyone's journey's different.
Yeah.
We're not all the same.
And I think that's the number one reason why a lot of people don't pursue their passions, who are in a place like, "Oh, I would love to do Reiki, but there's already so many Reiki
Right, and
healers out there."
that I was gonna talk about that too, because like, even in the artistic world, people are like, "Oh, that's art. Someone already
Yeah.
did that, right?" But
Yeah.
you didn't do it.
Yeah. You have something different to bring.
Right,
Yep.
and another one, yes, speak your truth in a calm and loving way.
You should never be afraid of speaking your truth and what's on your mind.
Right, or appeasing
How other people
other people.
perceive it, that does not matter.
Yeah, but
That's up
do
to them.
it in a calm and loving
Mhm.
way, right?
With anything. Yeah.
Right, with empathy,
Yeah.
compassion. I already touched on this, using I statements, right?
Yep.
Because it's a fact. No one can
Yeah.
deny how you feel,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and just with authenticity, it's like falling in love with yourself, owning your shit, right?
Yeah.
Work on the
I
shadow
think that's my
aspect.
favorite part, falling in love with yourself. We are always all, "God, I love myself," or,
Yeah, get
Yeah.
curious about yourself,
Yeah.
learn how you operate, what fulfills you, what do you
Mhm.
like to do?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because the number one thing I've recognized a pattern with, I'll ask people who are searching, I'm like, "What brings you joy?" And they literally are stumped.
Mm,
That, and even me sometimes, sure, I have my things, but I'm like, I want to be excited about more things, and try more things and new things. And yeah, you never know until you try.
yeah.
Yeah. I was just listening to a Mel Robbins podcast episode this morning where she brought in her mother in law, who's
Mm.
86 years old. This gal is skydiving, bungee jumping, walking 4 miles a day, drinking kombucha, and, just it's incredible. She just up and moved to Cambodia and started teaching kids English. And she was not a teacher or anything. She was like, I know how to speak, so I can teach them English. And
Well,
I'm like,
yeah,
that's
like,
so cool.
especially in a place where nobody speaks the
Yeah,
language,
but
like,
here
knowing
most people
a
will be
little
like, "Oh,
bit.
I need to be a teacher, or I need a certificate," or no, like she said, like how I live my life, like I'm more qualified than a lot of people who have certificates, and I own that. Like
Mhm.
it's just feeling confident in what you are doing and going for it. Fail your way there.
Yeah, and finding things that you love about yourself, even, like, the things that aren't great.
Yeah.
Hey,
Those are the things you need to like pay more attention to, I think, especially for women. And I know men too, but mostly women, being harsh on our bodies. And every time you look in the mirror and there's a certain part of your
mhm,
body that you're constantly like saying you don't like, give that body part love.
right,
I
or
love
that's a good practice too,
mm-hmm.
even, like, just looking at yourself in the mirror,
Eye
eye
contact.
contact, or
Mm-hmm.
even visually doing a body scan through the mirror. Like, look at your body. Like,
Yeah.
this is your body. Like, you aren't going to be
Yeah.
separated from it. And like, really appreciating the aspects of it. You're like, hey, I have this little patch of hair on my chest
Yeah.
that's like awkward. Fucking love it. You know, like a real example. I have a patch on my lower back, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it
What, were you
continues down.
self-conscious about it?
Like
Oh,
it
okay.
continues down to my ass crack. I have a hairy ass.
Yeah.
Whatever, right? Lots of men do.
Yeah.
Whatever. Chicks
Yeah.
love it,
Yeah.
apparently, and feedback from that, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, even because we're not all perfect. You know,
No.
you can look at yourself in the mirror and
Be really hard on yourself
be really hard and trying to like unprogram yourself from that. Or
is a really
if
tough
you're
one.
like, hey, if it feels aligned with you, you want to be a little bit more toned or whatnot. Yeah, makes changes in your life and allow time for you to go to the gym
Yeah.
or whatever, and then appreciate the way your body's changing because of the work you're putting in. Or eating better and you notice, hey, my waistline shrinking, like appreciating
Or
that.
the things that you can't change, and I'm gonna touch on that
Right.
because I am somebody who, I used to be really self-conscious, having 2 breast reductions and having
Mm,
scars, like, that was very intimidating for me entering the dating world after being married, and,
mm,
when you find the right people and when you not even the right people, but you've got to find that love for yourself, but having the right people can help bring that out in you, and that's one thing that I definitely have to thank Vito for because he was the first relationship, and I'm 37 years old, and
mhm,
he was the first relationship that actually brought that out in me, that made me see myself in a new light. When he would just constantly tell me how beautiful I was, and I was able to just be completely naked with him with my scars out and not try and hide and
mm.
whatnot. And
Scars are sexy.
yeah, and when I lay down, my boobs fall to the side and I have scars and I'm human, but he even said to me, it was just the other day where he was like, "Tosh, sure, there are younger women or other women that have a fake rack or whatever." He goes, "But a heart as beautiful as yours, that is
Mm.
rare." And
You
just
start realizing what really matters.
yeah, and
Scars,
yeah, but
that's
see,
it tells a life story, but like,
but that's where we're at. So many people aren't, and I wasn't there even 4 years ago,
right.
like, you used to feel self-conscious about things I used to, and now it's just owning it and knowing that we're beautiful and unique, and, yeah, our scars tell a story, and I am somebody where it's vice versa. Girls are always paying to get big boobs, and here, I had them. I hated them. I said, "Get rid of them, cut them off,"
Yeah.
and now I have scars because of that, and that was a choice I made, and I'm still so glad I did it, and yeah, so it's
Yeah. I had a conversation with my roommate Yana because she was being critical about certain aspects of how she looked, and I was like, the people that love you don't fucking see
no.
that shit. You're like, I shared that with her because of my own journey of working on that. That hey, and it took other people to recognize that because I'd be harsh on myself, and it took another person to be like, "Hey, Max, I actually like this part of you. Like,
Yeah,
I really like it."
yeah.
And then so like I'm perpetuating that cycle. So whenever someone's down on
Mm,
themselves, and it's you know what,
okay.
I, l- like you should stop being so hard on yourself. Like
Yeah,
people that love you, like we don't see it. And I like this part of you.
and maybe that person, all they needed was to hear that from somebody.
Yeah.
You never know.
Or yeah, you had big boobs. It was like hurting your back,
Yeah,
right?
that's why I
And
have
then
bad posture.
right, and then you
Yeah.
had to get them reduced. And the people that genuinely care about you is wow, that that must have been like a difficult decision.
Yeah, took
And to, like,
courage
even the
or yeah.
process of having it removed, right? And the pain
Mhm,
you had to go through and the healing process of that, like,
mhm.
holy shit, you're amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm, I love you.
I love you too. All right. So that brings us to number 6. Did we skip one?
7, I
Oh,
think we're on.
we are saying falling in love with yourself. So,
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to add to that. Yeah. Make sure your own needs are met as much as possible. I'm still working on
Yeah.
that.
We all are.
The other day, Rebecca was like sitting on top of me. We were just talking, and I like really had to pee. She was like on my bladder, right? And then she was like, if you need to pee, just say you need to go pee.
Yeah,
Like, I'll get off."
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh,
I gotta
okay."
pee.
Yeah. So like whenever, and I'm training myself now that whenever I need something,
Yeah,
I need make sure my needs are met,
yep.
whether it physically or emotionally. And if you're like, hey, I need a moment. if you're feeling like, hey, I'm not okay right now, I might blow up or something, speak it.
Yeah.
Say, hey, I feel like I'm really triggered right now. I need a moment.
Yeah.
Attend to your own needs.
Yep. 100%. And before you keep going, I want to touch on that.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
last week, Vito was supposed to meet me at Les Schwab because I was dropping my truck off to get an alignment, and he got lost
I
and
could
ended
have
up
done an
in.
alignment for you.
Oh shit, man! It would save me $130. Now I know next
Well,
time.
actually, I don't know how much my work charge.
Oh.
Probably the same thing.
um, but then he was supposed to meet me, and he got lost, ended up in Sedgwick, and I was just like, "Where are you?" and laughing about it. And he was in the worst mood. And Vito's one of the like chipperest, happiest people ever, but was in the worst mood when he picked me up. And I was just sitting on the curb. It was super
Why?
nice out, and I was enjoying the sun, and so I did not mind at all. And when he got there, and he was just not in a good mood, he was just so frustrated. He got
Because he went to
lost.
the wrong spot.
Yeah, because he got
That
lost,
happened with Rebecca and I. We were meeting up at Trappers, and she went to the wrong
and
one.
she got in a bad mood.
No, she
Oh,
didn't.
oh,
I wasn't a bad, but similar thing.
oh,
She went to the wrong
oh
Trappers, even
no.
though I said, "Oh, go to
Yeah,
the Parkland one or whatever."
but she didn't get in a bad mood or anything.
No, she was like, "Oh, silly me, I
Yeah,
get
that's
mixed
what I
up."
would do.
And I know she's not great at directions,
Yeah,
and that's fine. It's
yeah,
freaking cute,
yeah.
but for me, I'm like, whatever. I'm chilling here, drinking my
That's me
tea.
too.
I can
I
wait
was
another
fine.
20 minutes.
But that's not the thing. He was so worked up about it, and we were supposed to go run errands and
Mm.
whatnot. And he was like, I just feel like I need to go for a run. And so we were driving home. I said, okay, you really like, I'm feeling like you need to let some steam off. Why don't I just
We're
take you
gonna
back to the house, go for a run?
meet his needs. Yeah.
Yeah. But then we got here, and we sat in the car and talked for 5 minutes, and I talked him through it.
Mhm.
And he was good. I said, "Can you smile now?" And because he was so worked up, and he did. He had to like literally talk himself through it and why he was feeling that way. And
Yeah.
so it's something that when you recognize you're feeling a certain way,
Right.
yes, do what you need to do. If you need to get out and go for a run, let it out, or
Right.
talk it out with someone.
Or
Because
get
by the
in your
time,
car and scream. What was it?
yeah,
Alex did that.
yes. Oh my gosh, whatever works for you. But just us talking it through, he looked at me and goes, "God, thank you so much." And
You need to be able to do that for yourself, and that's
yeah,
what we're talking about is like advocating for your own needs. If
hmm
you need to go to the bathroom when someone's sitting on your bladder,
yeah,
go
just speak
go,
up.
go use the bathroom. If you need to poop 5 times a day because something's going on, go poop
Yeah.
5 times a day, ever.
Yep. Speak
Or
up.
if you need to scream,
Scream in
go
a
in the car.
pillow, scream in the car, dance, shake it out, run,
Yeah, if you
whatever
need to be
works for you.
alone for a moment, ask to be alone. Like
And that's
you have
okay.
needs and
Yeah.
your needs should be met. And the first person that should meet those needs is yourself.
And that's where another lesson. Vito was here for 10 days, and I'm somebody who I need my space. I
Mhm.
can't be with somebody 24/7.
Mm.
So I know that about myself, and it was important that I communicated that, "Hey, I know you're here these 10 days, but I'm going to go do this, or I'm going to do this," because the last time I just was like, "Okay, he's only here for this." And then I was feeling the tension because I just didn't have that time to myself. Recognizing what you need and acting
Allow
on
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in a relationship and you need your own personal space, be
Yeah.
sure to incorporate that into your relationship
Mhm.
because when you don't, you foster resentment.
Yep. And then you get irritable, and then you start getting
Yeah, like
snippy, and
understand what each other's needs are.
yeah.
And some of those needs they don't have to be met in the relationship.
No.
You can't be everything for your partner.
Yeah.
You can't you can't be like one major thing. You shouldn't be your partner's therapist.
Yeah. But no, shouldn't be their therapist, but having somebody that you can talk to, like you and Rebecca, you guys can talk about anything and everything.
Well, but we also get our need. There are certain needs that are met outside of the
Yes.
relationship.
We've always touched on this. The relationships are three parts, each
Right.
person individually and then together. Yeah. That's so important.
Our
Yeah.
number 6. Yeah.
Are we only on number 6?
Yeah.
Okay. We better wrap this up soon.
Well, you can edit it.
Okay.
Yeah. And
We'll finish these 10, and then we'll end up doing a part 2.
yeah. So number 6 is personal growth. Continuously work on personal growth and self-improvement. And this involves reading books, seeking therapy or coaching, or engaging in activities that help you become the best version of yourself.
My favorite. It's
Yeah.
so fun to read it, not just with a partner or a friend, but read a book with somebody and then talk about it. I love that.
or participating in an activity,
Yeah.
whether it be like rock climbing or
Yeah.
sports, and like having a good community
Yep.
around that. Some things I've listed were alternative healing.
Mm-hmm.
For me, is like breath work.
Yeah.
Even going to like today, I got a full body exfoliating
Oh,
thing done, right?
yeah.
I
From
treated
caffeine.
myself because I realized I was doing so much. I was helping other people so much.
Giving.
Yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
even through my practice and my personal life, I'm a natural giver,
Yeah.
but
Gotta have that
I
balance.
found out because of a slight bump in my personal life that I was having a strong reaction. I was getting dysregulated,
Mm.
and it was because I wasn't taking care of myself.
Yeah.
And when I didn't do that, like my what am I trying to say? It was a lot harder to regulate my emotions and remember aspects of myself and getting my self-worth in check. So I was like, hey, I needed to show myself some love. So I treated myself, and I love physical touch, right?
Yeah.
And then when Kathleen posted her services, I was like,
Oh, I
hey,
still haven't done that
we
one
need to
yet.
do a trade. Because at first I was like, I don't need hair removal. I don't need this. I don't need that.
Yeah.
And then one of them was like full body exfoliating. I was like, ooh,
Was it nice?
yeah, I'm
Oh,
still oily from
oh
it.
my gosh,
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. She,
I'm just so grateful. We have so many amazing services at Mystic now. It's
yeah.
like all the things I used to go to places for. I'm like, oh, sweet.
Mhm.
Just have to go to Mystic. And yeah, we have some pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah. So alternative healing is one of them. Or go to workshops.
Yeah, workshops.
Workshops are cool.
Yeah.
Something you're interested in, go do it.
Yep.
And I know
And we have some
Mystic,
exciting ones coming up
yeah.
too.
So Rebecca and I are going to do a cuddle party.
Cuddle party.
Uh,
It's going to be because Rebecca is a sex and intimacy coach, right?
Mm.
Yeah. And then Maxwell does breath work and Reiki. So they're going to combine it. And it's going to be, yeah, we'll give you the details soon, but it's in the works.
Yeah. And people are like, cuddle party.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's
Yeah.
a non-sexual, fully clothed on experience, and just
This one will be. I'm just kidding.
what they all will. All right.
People are like, what is mystic movement?
Like, hey, it's your business.
Yeah.
You do whatever. Literally your business.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another way of personal growth, journaling. We talked about that. Being of service or teaching. If you know something,
Yeah.
you have a skill, teach it.
Yeah.
Or being of service, utilizing that skill. Or playing an active role in your self-improvement and healing. Be curious.
And ask people, like, if you're somebody struggling to know,
Yeah.
what are my gifts? What am I good at?
Oh,
Ask
yeah.
3 or 4 friends, hey, what are 3 things I'm good at? You'll be surprised and you'll notice a reoccurring pattern.
Oh, one thing I did not too long, I was sent out to some friends. I think you were one of them, right?
Yeah.
What do you love about me?
Yeah, that's good. What do you love about me? Or what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Ask
Right.
people. I'm going to do that. We should do that after this. Think of something, send it out to 5 friends.
All right, yeah.
Ooh, what are your weaknesses? That would be a good one. So
Mhm.
then you could get better at them.
Yeah, self-doubt, self-worth,
Yeah. I
self-doubt.
wonder what my weaknesses are.
Getting in my head.
Yeah, I think everybody's guilty of that one.
Yeah.
If I was to say, what are my weaknesses? Camera shy. That would be a weakness, which I'm getting better about, but that would be one of them.
Yeah.
But anyways, we're not talking about weaknesses.
All
Back,
right.
back to number 8.
Number 8, yeah. Mindfulness and presence. I touched on that.
Mm-hmm.
But practicing mindfulness to stay present in the moment and being fully engaged in your relationships, so personal or external. This can help you connect more deeply with others and yourself and appreciate the beauty in each moment. So one thing I like to do is taking a moment to appreciate it. You see a flower,
Yes.
that's a cool ass flower. I like this tree. Or I like that cloud. It looks like this. Or like you see a rainbow and you're just like, allow yourself to be struck by how fucking
What we were talking about the other night when it was you, me, Vito, and Greg in the back room. Remember when I was just touching into that and watching the little kids perform?
Oh,
My
yeah.
heart was just,
Right.
I'm definitely starting to get more in tune with my emotions and feelings because I feel like I've been disconnected from them. but just recognizing how
Those
beautiful
little
things are.
moments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or even like the Northern Lights
Yeah.
last week where we're
Maxwell
just
was
like,
over last week and we just were roaming around the neighborhood like, whoa,
yeah,
cool, look at
yeah. And
this.
we're just like, oh my
So
God, so
beautiful.
cool. Just really allowing like little moments like that to soak in.
Yeah.
And that's just in the physical. Even when someone does something nice to you or gives you a compliment, really let that sink in. I was
Feel
terrible
it.
at that. I used to just brush compliments aside. And yeah, I'm like, oh my God, like those are such like genuine moments that I just swept under
Feel
the
them
rug
when
because I
people are
didn't
saying them.
feel worthy enough.
Yeah.
But when someone,
That's a good point. I feel like I still do that. And
yeah,
now I'm going to be very mindful of that when
yeah,
somebody
like
compliments me
someone took the time out of their day
to
to
compliment you.
recognize something in you that they liked and told you about it, and you just fucking swept it away.
It's like one of those things, when it's like something just sticks. I think you
Mhm,
just did that for me. Yeah, I think now anytime somebody compliments me, instead of getting, because I've always pushed away compliments, not
mhm.
liking the attention on me, I'm going to really soak that in
Or when
now.
someone does something for you.
Yeah,
It's so when someone says, "Hey, I wanna do this for you," and you're like, "No, no," I'm like, "You're denying them
yeah,
a chance to serve you because they love you,
yeah, yeah.
and you don't think you're worthy of that love.
And
Let them spoil you."
I have been letting people spoil me and whatnot, and
Yeah,
Vito
you
just
have.
I know. Vito just spoiled the shit out of me, and just so you all know, Vito and I were together for a year, and we broke up, and he still had a 10-day vacation planned, and he still wanted to come stay with me for those 10 days, and let's go to Canada. Neither of us had ever been, and we were joking, just saying, "Okay, our 1-year breakup, we're gonna go to Canada," and we did. We had the most amazing time, and
And you said it wasn't because he was trying to win you back.
no, not at all. Vito just has such a beautiful heart, and he loves me and cares about me and wants to see me happy and see me succeed, and he cares about me and my health and my well-being, and we had the best time, and he spoiled me, and just he's always treated me like a queen, and, you
'Cause you
know
are a queen.
Thank you. I am a queen.
Yeah, you are.
But it was hard for me in the beginning to accept things because I've always been that
Mhm.
person like, "Oh, I can do it myself," and whatnot, but just allowing him to do all those nice things for me and knowing it wasn't because he was trying to buy me or anything like that, and, he just left a couple days ago, and we had the most amazing time, and, there were a couple breakdowns and whatnot, and it was heartbreaking, but we both just have so much love and respect for each other and want each other to be happy, and not many people can say they break up and then go on a vacation together, But yeah, back to giving and receiving, like you do have to allow that receiving part too.
Mhm.
That's important.
Yeah. So, yeah, appreciating the small things. Also, again, practicing being present with doing body scans,
Yeah.
dropping into your body, giving yourself attention from head to toe. Also, allowing yourself time, giving yourself breaks to do that or to meditate.
Mhm.
And yeah, another one is attending to your needs again.
Yeah.
Make sure your needs are met.
Yeah.
That's the way to be mindful and present. Number 9, responsibility and accountability. This is a big one,
Mhm.
being held accountable to your actions. So take responsibility for your actions and their impact on others. Being accountable for your behavior shows maturity and integrity. I know in the male world, taking responsibility and accountability can a huge issue.
Mhm.
And we're all human and we mess up. So, like, giving yourself grace and just know that this was passed on to you, this way of operating in society. Like, I always love being the chain breaker.
Yes. And you get to choose how you move forward.
And,
Yeah.
like, you exactly. And this can be your moment to move forward. Own your shit. We all
And
have it.
choose to do
It's
things
okay.
differently. Mhm.
Exactly. And be honest with what you are dealing with and your needs and being able to communicate that. Nobody's a mind reader.
Yeah.
And any moment is a moment to make different choices.
Yep.
And it's okay if you make a choice and fail and you get down and and there's always a chance. And
Yeah.
you're going to fail. It takes practice
Yep.
and intention.
We made it. Number 10.
Oh, we're not there yet.
Oh.
Can't skip this. This is the
Oh.
most important
Oh,
one.
okay.
Learning the basics of repair.
Yeah.
When you're having a fight or a disagreement, there can be healthy fights. When we think of fights, we think of screaming at each
Yeah.
other, right? In a relationship, there's always fights. Hey, I don't agree with these things. And then you can healthily fight about it, right? Where both parties are getting hurt. But when you do a repair after a fight, you need to first off recognize that you're in an emotional conversation. And then you're more self-aware, you can gauge your like activation level. And when you're getting overstimulated or activated, speak your needs, take your break, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then re-enter that repair when you're more at a regulated state. Give your partner the benefit of a doubt. I think that's like a really huge one. Again, like
Yeah.
you're not a piece of shit. I love you. There's a benefit of a doubt that
Yeah.
your intentions were pure, right? Or you didn't mean to hurt me, but this is what happened. This is how I feel. Also, decide who gets to go first in the conversation. And while you're communicating, share vulnerably and listen and respond with empathy. Acknowledge your patterns and their impact, providing reassurance. And at the very end, reconnect with your partner. Those are the steps of proper repair after a rift that happens in the relationship.
Yeah.
So that's taking major accountability. So hopefully those are helpful tips. All right, now we're at the last one.
Number
Number
10.
10, balance.
Mm.
So strive for balance in all areas of your life, including work, relationship, health, and personal interests. Finding balance helps you show up as your best self in all aspects of your life. And when don't take everything you heard today and be like, I'm going to do all of it,
Yeah.
and burn yourself out, or you're learning this one thing or you're trying to work on this one thing and then burn yourself out. Don't forget, like, balance is a huge thing, and it takes time to
Yeah.
master. It takes practice.
But as long as you're trying and you're putting in the effort, for sure.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're not neglecting your kids or what.
Mm.
Balance, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Be graceful with yourself and the process, and make sure all your needs are attended to while you're also working on yourselves. And yeah, the most important thing is that you're actively participating in your own growth.
Yeah.
It's okay if it takes a long time.
Absolutely. And we hope that all these tips help you in some way. I know this one was a little long. We just wanted to go over the basics with you, but
We have the caveat.
oh, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Go for
right.
it.
So hearing these things and you're like, yes, I want my man to step up in this way. This is how men should be. You like want these things. However, are you a person or a woman who can embrace this kind of man?
Mm,
Let's really get real here.
yeah.
Like, for a simple example, maybe your partner on the couch watching the game all the time, and you're like, hey, I really wish you could help at least like load the dishwasher when I'm done with dishes. And days go by, he doesn't. But then one day he does. And then you go, fucking finally,
Yeah.
you just crushed him.
Yep.
Instead,
And you're just going backwards now.
yeah. And then he'll just revert back to his old self.
Praise
right?
him.
If he's starting to show steps as a man,
Thank you
being
so
praised,
much. That means a lot that you heard me or that you're helping or anything.
right?
Mm.
Don't use his attempt to
Be better.
make changes as an attempt to kill it.
Yeah. Yes.
Really be supportive, play an active role in it, being like everything we already talked about. Guess what? On the flip side, you too.
It's two-way straight. Oh, man. Good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Maxwell, for coming on again.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Let's go. But yeah, we will see you guys on part 2. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.